Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to the Freedom Day. Thank you so much. This is Jeannette Echevarria. I'm here with my friend Salt, and today we're gonna bring you guys all about connection with clients, connection with each other. But primarily, it is important for us to really ensure that our connection and relationships with our clients, especially after we close on a deal, stay strong. And so we're going to talk about we're going to have a few tips on how to grow those connections, how to maintain those connections, and also just other little secrets that we can do to grow your referring business or returning business straight from your sphere of influence. So first and foremost, I want to begin. So Salt's never attended this class today, and so it is our Freedom Day. So we do this ritual where everyone is really hyped up and we want to talk about Freedom Day. Everybody types it in the chat. Whoever wants to unmute yourself and shout it out, hey, I'm all for it. I know there's a lot of military people here who sound off, so I would love to hear that. But Freedom Day, it doesn't get any better. So the purpose of our coaching classes is to reach that freedom, whatever that freedom means to everybody as an individual. And so let's say it loud. Freedom Day, guys. Freedom Day. Awesome. So thank you again for being here. Again, if you guys feel like you want to unmute yourself at any time and have something to add into our conversation today, you're more than welcome to. So a lot of us struggle, if we're in real estate or even in any kind of industry, do you want that return business, right? And so a lot of times we are not doing maybe the right behaviors or systems in place that could allow your return business to be there, right? And so this is our focus today. And I can share with you that personally, my return business is very fruitful. I realized that I think from my second or third year in the industry, I've been doing this for 9 years, going on 10. I noticed that I actually gave up on any kind of paid advertisement, anything that I was doing outside of just personal touch on my third year. And I wanted to see what I've made out of, what I've built, right? And so that year I had about, I think 27, 28 closings just from return business. Some from my past clients coming back to me and selling their home or either renters coming back to buying their first home or referrals from my sphere of influence. So that was really powerful for me to learn that I had planted the seeds and I had fed, given it water, given it the sunlight it needed and saw it grow. So that's something that I want to share with you guys, some tips today of maintaining and creating the relationships. That's the first thing, right? But then maintaining them. That's right. So Salt is here because I would love for you to tell us a little bit about you. Sure. And the importance of what you're going to bring to our class today, because I think it's huge.
Awesome. So thank you. Again, my name is Salt, just like the stuff you sprinkle on food. And I am a human behavioral specialist. So I provide people with the skills and strategies necessary to help them overcome their largest hurdles. I teach people skills and strategies also on how to reduce and eliminate their stress and frustration. Anybody got some stress or frustration in today's world, right? A little bit. So I actually teach people the skills and strategies on how to reduce and eliminate their stress and frustration. And then on a daily basis, I have the privilege of helping people to create and actually achieve the life of their dreams. So I love what I do. And I've known Jeannie and Will through some other connections, if you will, kind of a networking type deal. And they invited me down. So I've been down here in Florida for the last couple of days, spending some time just talking about business and talking about life and eating some great food and having an awesome time. So thank you very much. Jeannie asked if I would be on the call here today. In part because of me being my profession of human behavior and understanding how, as humans, how we actually connect. So I'm going to jump in just to a human behavioral piece, a psychology piece, and then I'll pass it right back off to you. So I want everyone just to think about real quick. So think about a date that you went on with someone. It could be a first date with someone, or it could be, you know, the last date that you had, whatever that is. But think about, even if you're married, it's like, all right, talk about a date or think about a date that you went on with a significant other, whoever that might be for you. All right. And what did you do? And my sister, what's that?
I paid the bill.
Okay.
My suspicion is that one of three things occurred. So my suspicion is that there was food involved, or there was touch involved, or that there was movement involved. One of those three things. As human beings, we connect around food, around touch, and around movement. And if you actually think about a fetus inside mama, right? Little baby inside of mama, right? Baby has this constant source of food. Baby has a constant sense of touch, and there's constant movement. Even when mama is sleeping, her body is still pulsing with her heart rate or with her heartbeat, and then also with her respirations. So as humans, we connect around food, around touch, and around movement. So when you're in person with somebody, those are great ways to connect with them. So, I just want to lay that foundation, and we'll talk some more about other ways to connect with folks, not so much in person.
Yeah, guys. So can you imagine this? He's a secret weapon. Like, he can help us, you know, identify and really know what the true, how to really true understand human behavior. And if you know those basics, standards, or, you know, behaviors that we need to stay on top, I mean, how powerful would that be with our business, right? And so I look at our transactions, you know, if all of us are here in real estate, right? And I have a client, we speak to them on a daily basis. We speak to them more than once a day. We text them all the time until we get to closing, right? But what happens at closing? Like, everything shuts off. Now, if you're, you know, a true person that sticks to your systems and wants to really connect and follow up with the clients, then you'll have these systems in place, and you'll know the right behaviors to focus on. But those who don't, you know, we miss out on the opportunity of working with those people again. And I've had it done. I've had it where clients are, you know, they're loyal with me. They're, you know, stuck with me at the hip, right? Up until closing. And then at closing, you know, I might send a message out. Hey, hello, how are you? How's everything? Are you settled in? But then we kind of just got so busy with everything else that we forget about that client that we were so involved with. And then they forget about us as well. And if we're not doing what we're supposed to, as following up and sending reminders or calls, however you want your system, which we're going to talk about soon, you know, they disappear, right? And then they'll forget who you were, and they'll find another realtor to work with when it's that time to sell their home, or if they need to refer you out. So that's what we don't want that to happen to you guys. So we're going to talk about those little tips. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let's see. And let me get that. Michael, do you mind making me a host or co-host so I can share?
And while we're waiting on that, just think about that feeling when you find out that someone that you've worked with in the past has gone with another realtor, right? Has anybody had that experience? Right? I imagine that that's like crushing on some level. It's like, oh my gosh, we had this relationship, and then to find out that they went with somebody else, it's like, right? So that's what we're actually aiming at today, is how do we shift that and not have that happen again.
Exactly. It is hardening when you see that. Let me see. Okay. Still not able to, guys, but we'll go ahead and. So we're just gonna, while we get this going, we can start discussing the tips of connecting. So some of the things that we were discussing prior and planning into this class is some of the things that we connected along the way. So like on a yearly basis, after your clients close on their home, what is your practice, right? And so some of the things that we came up with was a home anniversary date, right? I mean, that's a given. You know your date that you closed on their home. Pull up your CRM, pull up your calendar, set a reminder for years today to contact these people, to send out a nice little celebration email, text, however it is that, that works for you. But that's one that's really easy, right? Another one we talked about, and it's a fun one, guys. You guys didn't know, but today's National Home Anniversary Day. And we're gonna have a tile for you. We're gonna share it with you guys that you get to share with everybody on social media, and you celebrate with all your clients, no matter when they close. Today is the day that you celebrate.
That's right. Not only is it Freedom Day, it's also National Home Anniversary Day, right? And I bet very few people on the call actually knew that today was National Home Anniversary Day. So.
And you got to have fun with it. You got to embrace it, celebrate it, right? And everyone who's homeowner and they had the privilege of working with you, you got to celebrate.
That's right.
So another tip that we do often use is the weather changes. So for those of you who live in a northern area, you winterize their home, right? So most of the time you could send a nice little checklist of what to do for those people who are in the northern areas and suffer from other temperatures. If people are in Florida or in states that are southern that don't have drastic weather changes, but guess what? We do get storms. And so you send a checklist of preparation, right? For those, that's another time that you can connect with that client and really ensuring that you are caring about their home and their investment and their well-being by having them be prepared. So that is one that I don't practice enough. I'm going to be honest with you. I do want to, because I think it's important. It not only shows that you care for their well-being, but for their investment as well. And it's another opportunity to connect.
Yeah. If you think about this, so I'm going to go back to that analogy of dating and that first date, right? So would you go out with the person who you never hear from again? Right? Of course not, right? That's not going to happen. What about the person that just sends you one text or one email, right? Well, maybe there's a little bit of interest, but you're not sure, right? And then what about the person who actually keeps in contact with you, right? That's someone who we're more interested in having a relationship with. And that's really the whole piece here. With these tips to connect, it's about having more consistent contact with someone. And human behavior, right? And you all have heard this before. You got to, put yourself out there 7-8 times before someone actually remembers you. And we do business with people who we know, who we like, and who we trust. So you start to get to. You'll know your clients, and your clients will start to get to know you through that home buying or home selling process for sure. So they will start to like you because you're actually helping them achieve some of their biggest goals, and then also to trust you because you're consistent. Mm-hmm. So these are some thoughts around getting more consistent with that follow-up and maintaining that relationship. Now, two things real quick. One is you don't want to be salesy in every email, right? No one wants that. No one wants the, and if you're looking to sell your house, here I am. If you're looking to sell your house, here I am. If you're, right? It's like, enough, right? So number 4, so the 4 that we have so far, the 3 that we have so far are the home anniversary date, the National Home Anniversary date or day, times during weather changes, and then also send out a funny email. So just something that makes someone and makes people laugh. And again, it's that, oh my gosh, this is funny. I enjoy this person. And it really creates a deeper connection when we have humor as part of that relationship.
Yeah, especially if you can personalize it. When you mentioned that funny email or experience, I think of this realtor that I don't know if most of you have seen it, but she had a video where she was just laughing in her car, and she shared that she fell, and she fell. She described this so vividly, right? So I thought, I'm here watching this realtor fall. Her skirt went over her body, and her client was right behind her. And those things happen. It's funny. I mean, honestly, it's just funny. I know at the time you might be embarrassed, but if you own it and you thought, hey, I'm gonna laugh it off, that person might, will be right there with you.
Yeah.
And so I think it connects them at a different level too. If you find something that happened during the process of you helping them that you thought it was funny, and then you just sent that reminder. All right. And so another tip that we also want to share would be the safety assessments, which is something, and again, this goes back again to caring for their investment, taking care of them as well. Because if you consider of doing fire safety, right? If there's a fire extinguisher in several areas in your home, those kinds of things are taking care of their well-being. If something was to happen, you are having them have that preparation ahead of time, so just in case they were to need it.
And a quick email that even says something around that, and I don't know the statistic, but I know that it's the majority of all house fires are caused by a cooking accident. They start with a cooking fire. And then just sending that statistic, right, whatever that is, 83% or whatever it is of all house fires start as a cooking incident. And then a question, one, do you have a fire extinguisher in your kitchen? And number two, is it, gosh, what's the word that I want? Yeah, think the word that I want.
Or does it expire, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
Like inside.
Right. So whatever that word is, it'll come back to me. But is it operational, right? Does it have the right amount of pressure in it? And then just one other sentence that just says, I'm here to help you look out for your biggest investment. And so glad to have you as part of our team, right? Yeah. Something that simple. Again, it's not salesy, it's not pushy, it's not long.
On the smoke detectors,
right?
I mean, I know those smoke detectors, when they go off, it's annoying, but some people, and honestly, I'm guilty. If you go upstairs to my room right now, that smoke detector started going off, and guess what we did? We took the batteries off and we left it unplugged.
Yeah.
So if someone sends me a reminder of, have you replaced the batteries? I'm going to be like, oh my God, I need to do that. Yeah. Right?
There you go. That's a great one, actually, because I know a lot of people that do that.
Right? I honestly sitting on my dresser.
And the word that I was thinking of is charged. Is the fire extinguisher charged, right? Does it have the pressure in it to actually work? Because over time, those things start to lose pressure. So another example, another potential email that you could send out to folks is you could promote someone or a course that you felt was beneficial to homeowners. So I have an accountability partner. Every morning, Monday through Friday, we have a 10-minute call first thing in the morning, and it's pretty much, what are your highest priority actions for today? How'd you do yesterday? Right? So it's this accountability piece. She actually has a home inventory class. And this is a class around how to very quickly take a home inventory. And I think she says on average, an average homeowner has at least 300,000 items in their home. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
Now, where I'm from, I actually live in Colorado. And about 18 months ago, there was a huge fire. It was called the Marshall Fire outside of Boulder, Colorado. So about 20 minutes from where I live. And neighborhoods, literally just neighborhoods, were just completely decimated. At the end of the whole fires, there were foundations, and that was it. And imagine trying to fill out an insurance claim and coming up with all 300,000 items. And some of the things that she talks about too is like your Christmas decorations. You don't think about all of those Christmas decorations. But anyway, so she teaches a class, a home inventory class, on how to inventory your home, how to document that, and how to preserve it for insurance purposes. So you could send a promo and go, hey, have you thought about, doing a home inventory? It's been a year, and I'm sure you've bought some new things, right? It's important that you actually have these documented. So that's another way. It's another touch. It's another reach out to your clients and the people that have bought from you previously.
Yeah, that was huge. Honestly, I think for me,
saw nothing.
it spoke. It's 1,000 words to me, because just to know that, yes, the items that you have, sometimes we forget the value of what we have too. I actually suffered from water damage a couple years ago, more than once, and yeah, we had a ton of equipment, thousands and thousands of dollars lost. And those are just things that we saw when we started going into the closets and finding more and more. So imagine if I had a system already in place, and like you said, a course that had already got me prepared, then when that insurance company comes in and starts doing all their estimates and reports, I could easily just hand off. And so that is huge.
Yeah.
I think I would love to hear more about that. And if you guys are interested, we're going to share the Salt's emails later. He can probably give us maybe a promo code for that course as well.
I bet I could. I bet I could.
Awesome. Okay. So the other part of things, so these are, the touches that we talked about, or the tips, are more something that you can automate, right? So you can use that Canva, you can use different types of tools, your CRM, however it is, to personalize emails and reminders, right? Or set reminders to send those out. But then I also want to talk about your touches, your actual follow-up conversations. To me, they're very important. I grow very close to my clients when I am working with them, and I miss them, right? I naturally, like, I had a closing that happened 2 weeks ago, and I've been helping them since December to sell their home, sell 2 homes and buy their new one. And now I'm like having this separation anxiety almost, where I'm like, oh my God, are they okay? Do they think I've forgotten about them? I haven't, And so now is that time of following up with them, right? So, I put some standard tips here as far as, following up 1 week after closing, because you want to give them the little time to settle in, but then just ensure that if they need anything, right? I also talk about 1 month after, like, just in case. How are you? How's everything? Do you need anything, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about some discussions to have as well. And more about their personal interest. I like to advise or set up maybe consultations with like someone with life insurance, someone to help them with a trust, and ensure their home and their assets are protected and themselves are protected. And so those are conversations that you could have. And I'd love to hear a little bit about that from you.
Sure.
Because you're definitely right in that realm.
So if you think about this, so as we go through life, so we have income, and we're hoping that our income is always greater than our expenses. But if there's an event that occurs where our income drops, maybe it's a health event or whatever, and it's at that same time that our expenses go up, at that moment where those two intersect, right? That is a moment of crisis. That's a moment of, oh my gosh, the wheels are going to fall off. And so the piece in relationship is, it's not about just the now, it's about the future also. And relationship is this piece around ongoing. And so and this is exactly what Jeannie's talking about with the 1 week follow-up. It's like, yeah, we closed, right? And it's not like, okay, we're closed and now I'm done with you kind of thing, right? That makes no sense. It makes no business sense, and it makes no human interaction or human behavioral sense. It's like, no, this is an ongoing kind of piece. And then helping people know what else to look for and to look out for, and find different professionals who can help, again, plan for that future. So
Yeah. And also, sorry guys. Also just think about, maybe in that 1 week or 1 month, they might need, some vendors, some contractors, some services added into their home or into their family. So, it's just adding value, right? And you are the expert, and you are the person who holds all the information, right? And the knowledge that they're going to need, after home ownership, or, if they relocated to a new place, you are the person there. You're the local expert. So why not be there and just pick up that phone, send them a message and saying, hey, how are you? Do you need anything?
Yep.
Well, how can I help you? That just speaks the words, 1,000 words. And then I like to do quarterly touches as well. Just check in on them. How are they doing? Do you need anything? A lot of my clients tend to follow up and they ask me for some of their paperwork again. Maybe they're filing taxes and they need some documentation.
Yep.
Or home warranty. Sometimes they forget, they're in their home now settled, and all of a sudden, dishwasher stops working. And they're like, what's my home warranty again? And, guess what? I'm an expert and I have it all in a beautiful folder that I can just share and email them. And so that right there just makes makes you look more valuable for them. And again, another connection, right?
exactly.
And then I also tend to do yearly property and market updates. Who doesn't love that? Like if they're everyone who owns homes are investors, right? This is the biggest investment in their life they're going to make, right? The biggest purchase. And so I always like to advise someone on that. Even though it is their home and they're living and they may not intend to sell it, they still want to know what it's worth. And if it appraised in value, in the last couple of years, we've gone through this crazy markets of, double, like I've had 200,000 in equity in less than a year.
Yeah.
In a home.
Yeah.
And they should know that, because this could also help them prepare for a different future. Like, you never know, you can always leverage, some of the equity to do some updates on the home or upgrades, or maybe even buy another property. And so that you're the expert there, letting them know what's happening in the market that is affecting them directly. And maybe you could even help them find another way of, building more of a financial freedom for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I do. I educate my clients. I wear my realtor hat, and then I also take my realtor hat off and talk about investors, and I talk to them about, okay, so this is what I did on my home, right? And, some people may not agree with it, but, if you take out your equity line of credit or something like that, you could reinvest it into another property that could be giving you additional income, which is, my way of doing things, right? Me and my husband. But some people may connect with that and they're like, wait a minute, I want to build wealth,
Yep.
right? I want to have residual income from another property. Or maybe I want a vacation home that I can rent out and use when I want it, but it's still being rented out and paid for. So
Can we ask quick questions?
yes, let's do it. Stop sharing real quick. All right, guys. So is there any questions, you guys, any feedback or anything you'd like to add to conversations?
What questions do you have? Stun the crowd silent.
We are so good.
That's right. Just send us a message.
Yeah, great information. Thank you.
Hi. I wanted to ask a question. I don't know if you guys know, if anybody on the call knows, but do you know of any programs that create like email templates that you can use to send out to clients?
Oh, Kanisha, you're my favorite person in all the world right now. Don't tell my kids I said that, but you're my you really are. So I appreciate that question very, very much. One of the things that I was going to say is if people on the call, so one of the offers that I want to make here is that if people are on the call are interested in some emails that I script that actually kind of tickle part of the brain that get people to take action, because that's really what it's all about. If you are interested in that, if you're interested in talking to me about some email scripting, I'm going to give you my email address and you can reach out to me and I'm happy to talk to you about that if that's something that you're interested in. So I'm going to give everybody my email address, and it is salt, S-A-L-T, salt, at saltcoaching.net. Salt at saltcoaching.net. And it's in the chat now. So if you are interested in some emails or at least some components of, so I can script emails or some components that it's important to have in an email that actually really create that connection and take action, email me and I'm happy to get back to you and we can have a chat.
Thank you. I think someone asked for the slides. Absolutely. If you want to put your email on the chat, I can definitely share with you the slides and a couple of tips.
Other questions, other people about connecting, about following up, about human behavior?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, we're good. No, I do want to share with you guys and like I said, Salt's like a secret weapon, right? He's actually opened my mind and my heart, but definitely my mind to seeing a lot more and I think work harder on making the relationships matter. Yeah. And so the people that I do interact with, I am going to give you my 100%. When I'm with you, I'm going to give you 100%, and it hurts if I'm not, right? And so sometimes it's hard, we have a lot of responsibilities that we have, but always come back, like live with integrity and ensuring that you are coming back to those people. If they ask you questions, follow up. Maybe at the end of the day, practice some downtime that you can go back to your phone and read all your text messages just in case you missed any, or an email. I think that is really the most valuable thing is the following up after and ensuring that you do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right. If you tell your client, I'm going to call you in 2 weeks, do call them, and if you don't, it's okay. But if you don't call them in that 2 weeks, but at least, follow up with them when you can. And it's going to go a long way, to be honest with you. Like I see it rewarding in my business. My return business is very fruitful. I rarely have any cold leads that come in. A lot of my business is return. Absolutely. At least 80 to 85%. We have a question on connection.
Hi, Jeannette. Hi, Salt. My name is Vaughn. I have a questions regarding the connections after you haven't been in touch for a while. I often got nervous and guilty at the same time after I didn't follow up with the client that I talked before, and then after a while, and I feel so guilty that I just ghost them out. And then at the same time, I don't feel good that I ghost them out. I feel like I could have just called them, but then with the thought that I got so nervous, then it keep going 1 week after another to the point that it just stay on my mind that I'm so nervous to pick up the phone and call them because I feel so guilty. I know that's not healthy and it's not good for my mental health either. Like I keep piling up all these people on my head, but then I don't do anything. So what would be like I don't want to, what would be a good way? Because I do want to come back to them,
Yeah.
like, but like, what would be a good way to come back and then say that, hey, I'm sorry, I've been keeping in touch with you, but I do like you. I want to work with you, something like that, right? Like, what would be a good script?
Yeah. So Vaughn, you now are my favorite. So Kanisha, I'm sorry you got knocked off.
No,
Sorry
it's
for-
okay.
So
That
Anne
was
is
a
now
really
my
great
favorite.
question.
This is what I do with my kids. My kids are older now, but I still mess with them and tell them which one is my favorite, and then quickly shift to another one to being the favorite. So Vaughn, you're my favorite. So here's 3 things for you, real quick, and for everybody. Number 1, everything is just feedback. Write that down. Write that down for yourself. Everything is just feedback. So that feeling of guilt or that feeling of resentment, that frustration that you're feeling, whatever that is, it's just feedback. And it's trying to get you back into your authentic self. So everything that's going on around you is just feedback, and it's a matter of listening to it, not trying to push it away or ignore it, whatever that is. It's like, no, this is feedback. Okay, so I'm getting some feedback. What's the feedback? I don't feel good. I feel guilty, right? Now, guilt is a perception, and it's the perception that you have caused more pain than pleasure, more drawback than benefit, more negative than positive. So Vaughn, part of you is going, oh my gosh, me not talking to them has been more negative than positive. And so recognize that guilt is a perception. So you put that in the notes too. Guilt is just a perception. All right. And again, and it's the perception that you're out of balance. So it's like, okay, you can ask yourself, how does it actually help you? How's it helped the client to not have that contact? And I know that's a strange question, but that's a great question. It's like, literally look at how's it actually served them? Because it has, and it served you because you've done something else instead. You could look at what was I doing instead of reaching out to my client? And whatever that is, if that was spending time with your kids, with your spouse, whatever, that was important to you, and honor that for yourself. Third piece is, and this gets to your question about the script. I would actually, so right off the top of my head, I would start an email with, oh my gosh, life gets busy. I'm sure it does for you. I know it does for me. Oh my gosh, life gets busy. I'm sure it does for you. I know it does for me. I wanted to take a moment out of busy life and reach out to you. Right? And then you can go from there. Want to touch base, so want to make sure everything's going okay, right? Type thing. And then you can get back into, and again, so Jeannie and I came up with 6 different areas, right? So the anniversary day of the buyer of the sell, the national home anniversary day, the weather changes, the safety check, the funny deal, and then a promo like the home inventory class, right? So you can just, from there, once you do that, hey, I know life's been busy. I know it has been for me, right? I'm just checking in. Then you can just put them right back into a regular contact. And if that's that quarterly thing that Jeannie was talking about, if it's a yearly or semi-annual kind of contact, now you got them into the funnel again and into your email sequence, if you will. Is that helpful?
Yes, that helps a lot. Thank you so much.
And my other piece with you, because I just feel it really kind of strongly, is my suspicion is that you're really judging yourself harshly, like you've done something bad or wrong, or it's like, oh, and you should have done different or whatever. And it's like, really honor yourself and go, I've made decisions, and those at the moment, those were really, really important. And that's the piece. Instead of, oh, I should have, could have, would have, because now you're just beating yourself down. But going, no.
Yes, I do that all the time. It's like, I should have just called that client, or I should have just follow up that client after a month after closing. Then I do something else. Then I just kind of like frustrate all myself and feeling guilty.
Yep.
But then like, and then like I was thinking I want to follow with them, but then like it's like, oh, I don't want to follow with them because they're gonna be like, they're gonna be mad at me because they didn't hear from me like 3 months later, and then I'm calling them. Like I keep coming up with all these stories in my head.
So here's the thing, Vaughn, right? So a couple pieces also. So one, you're saying no for the client. So I don't know if you're married or not married or whatever. So it'd be like going, oh my gosh, right? Here's a cute person over here, and I want to ask them out, but I'm sure they're going to say no. So you never ask them out, right?
Yes, that's what's happening. Yes.
And as a result, you're saying no for them. You're making these assumptions. So in my world, I go, never say no for somebody else. Let them say no. And what's the worst that they're going to say to you? What's the absolute worst that they're going to say to you? Don't ever call me again. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Right? Is it going to kill you?
No.
You'll be okay then.
And if anything, you're going to reconnect and gain your client, gain maybe one or even more transactions out of that, because they'll reconnect with you and they'll use you continuously, and they'll refer you to all of their friends and family too.
Yeah. Vaughn, if you'd like, email me, and I'd love to connect with you. I could give you a couple of skills and strategies that is going to knock some of this guilt and the, should have, would have, and what are clients going to say. I can knock that out of the park for you very quickly. And the piece for me is that, so my main focus for all of my clients is to help them master their life and master all areas of their life. I do have a financial focus in helping people master their financial life, but also their business life and their relationships. And part of what's happening is that these feelings, these thoughts are actually mastering you as opposed to you mastering them. And I can, like I said, I can give you a couple of skills and strategies. We don't have time right now. It's too long, too detailed. But I can give you some very specific skills and strategies that will help you overcome this, eliminate this, and start to master a greater part of your life. And I'd love that opportunity if you're interested. Email me and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the question. Other questions that we have?
I'm gonna put my IG in the message as well, guys, my Instagram. And I'm gonna, those of you who are interested in wanting the National Home Anniversary Date tile, I'll send it in there for you so you guys can post and make it, personalize it with your logo and your names. I'll share that momentarily.
Other questions? Any other questions? Awesome.
Well, guys, don't forget that this is your freedom, right? Freedom Day is not just about financial. It could be anything that that the word means to you, right? So definitely keep striving for your goals, keep working towards your goals and your dreams. And and
got some dogs here that are just expressing their freedom to show up.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
But also wanted to remind you guys there's the free trial for the Freedom Academy as well. I believe we're gonna put the link right in there, freedomachieveracademy.com. There's a free trial in there. There's a ton of this happening behind the scenes as well as customized to you and your personal what you need, right? Your personal needs. So thanks so much for tuning in. This is Jeannette and Salt.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank
Feel
you.
free to reach out if you have questions or if you'd like to explore emails or anything else like that. Happy to serve you.
All right. Have a great one, guys.